Hi, good evening, everyone. Are you all excited for today's story? I definitely am. In fact, the last transformation series really did very well. Thanks to our guest, Gurbaksh, whose story was such an amazing story that there's so many people who wrote to us even after we posted the video. So the people who joined live and then the people who really watched it felt very good about the story. So friends who are joining for the first time, we are doing this series of transformation. So every Tuesday is a Tuesday of transformation. What does transformation mean? Hi Varun, good evening. Transformation means that you change something hi Abhishek, internally permanently. So it's not a temporary change. It could be triggered by an external event, an incident, something that you felt, experienced, but it stays forever. That's a transformation. And these kind of stories are the stories of ordinary people who have changed their life, converted into what they wanted. Maybe they were wanting happiness, or they wanted to really do well in their career, or they wanted to step out and create something of their own, or it could be a work life balance, or giving more time to family, but really changing their life permanently. Hi Janvi, hi Vidya, hi Patel Sa. I hope I'm getting the name right. So that is what it is about today. That today there's another transformation. So what is this transformation all about? Friends, all of you, hi Anuja. All of you know that one of the most difficult decision of life, be it a man or a woman, is finding the right life partner. I think it's one of the most difficult decision and the most crucial decision of your life. If you get it right, believe me, your life is blessed. So people who have really found the right life partner, hi Bobby, are making it big. They really live a wonderful life. They're happy. And you know the stories that we would listen as kids, and then they lived happily ever after. So that's exactly what happens if you find the right life partner. Hi Chitija. But what has changed is earlier marriages were pretty easy. Hi Hiru. Because it used to be more of a joint family culture. There were 3-4 generations living together. People would suggest each other. It was a community that we would live in. So we knew each other as we were growing up, and that is how marriages would happen. As the society started disintegrating and nuclear families started happening, and after that children started stepping out of the house for their education, for their job, the closeness or the togetherness started disintegrating. What happened because of that was people whom we grew up with didn't exist. Now we have new set of people. We are busy in our careers, and then all of a sudden there's the decision of finding the right life partner. It's a very difficult process. We are scared, and today females also have started. I mean, they've stepped up. They're doing very well in their career. They have an independent lifestyle. They have freedom of choice to do what they want. So it's not an easy task to really get married, find the right life partner. So what are these questions that a female goes through when she's searching for a life partner? Is she scared? Is she worried? Is she happy? Is she excited? Is she enthusiastic about the process? Does it really lead to a happy married life? All these questions, dear friends, and how do you make this happen is what is going to happen in today's series. This person who's going to join us today is Amruta. Amruta, who's actually gone through this whole process, and today she's leading a wonderful, happy married life. So here, instead of waiting for all of you and not really getting the whole process delayed, I would love to invite Amruta for today's transformation story. Hi, Amruta. She joined. This has been one of the most wonderful. Yes, you're there. Hi, good
Hi, good
evening.
evening.
Fantastic to have you here.
My pleasure too, Didi.
So, how was the day?
Was good, busy with work. wrapped up by around 8 o'clock, had a quick dinner, got ready for this session, was super excited. So all
Wow.
decked up, feels good to get ready at
I
in
know
front of
in
the
the corona,
camera.
yeah, in the corona, it's really an opportunity to get dressed up. And
Absolutely,
you don't have to
absolutely.
wear a mask, so you can actually put
Yeah,
on a good lipstick.
absolutely.
Yeah, I really wait for these live sessions because I can really deck myself without a mask and freely show the lipstick color. It looks good.
True that.
Yeah. So, Amrita, I was just explaining people that it's one of the most crucial and the most toughest decision of life. And I think it is for both. It is for man and women both. It is not only for a woman. But today's, since you are our guest, we'll look at it more from a female's perspective. So, we would really like to first start with knowing you as a person. So, right back into your childhood, how was life for you? Hi,
Sure.
Aishwarya. Yes.
I think I always, to give a background, I always had this extreme inferior complex of my looks because always I was a chubby, healthy child. So I always felt that I'm not good looking, and I used to not like to dress up. I used to always be in boys' clothes, and to kind of compensate that, to get that attention in the family, because I felt nobody appreciated me for my looks. I was overachieving in all other aspects. So in academics, I was always in the top three or top five in my school. I was a swimmer, I was a table tennis player, I was good at dramatic speeches, everything. So anything other than the looks part, I was achieving or probably overachieving in all other parts, because I was really having that complex that I don't look good, and to keep my importance in the family, I need to achieve something else. So that's how I was compensating.
So tell me this complex, how did it develop into you? Did people make you aware of that or you believed in it? How did it come into you?
No, it was just in me. I mean, nobody ever came to me and told me that I am ugly, or that I don't look good or anything. But I was surrounded by really good-looking set of cousins and a sibling. So I developed that complex naturally, that I am not good-looking, and that they always will get the attention from all the relatives in any function or in the family. So nobody, actually, absolutely nobody came to me and told me that I'm not good looking. That was something inherently that I developed since childhood somehow, and that remained with me forever. I mean, it was, yeah.
So isn't it like, generally in females, by default, with the surrounding environment, society per se, physical beauty is defined by how is this,
Yeah, yeah,
how is the color of the skin, and what is your size. So
absolutely.
what made you believe that you were not good looking?
So, because like I said, the people around me, my cousins and all, were really, like you just described, in all those physical aspects, really fair skinned, slim. And so it was not healthy. I will know, because I knew I was a sports person. I was probably healthier than they were. But because the looks part is so crucial, I always felt that because I'm on the chubbier side, I don't look good. I will not fit into good clothes. So I just feared looking good, or like dressing up also, like I said. So I used to always be in my brother, so I have an older brother, so I used to wear his older clothes, always had short hair, no earrings, no lipsticks, nothing. So it was just that surrounding the way it was there. So like I said, nobody explicitly came and told me, but that is how it was. The slimmer people, the fairer people, or who fit into that definition of good looks, were always appreciated, and that's why I developed that feeling that I am not up to that mark of the society's definition of beauty.
Beauty. Hi Ashi, hi Dipti, hi Shitija, hi Bharti. Welcome.
That's
Hi
my
Akash.
that's my mother-in-law.
Ah, okay. So I should be not referring to you as Bharti. That's the sad part because social media you can't see the age. Hi Shefali. So it's great to have the mother-in-law watching the daughter-in-law and how she's
Absolutely.
going to speak about choosing the right life partner. Fantastic. Great to have you here. So, all of you who are watching us right now, how many of you really agree that physical beauty is something which is really very well defined in our society? And that is all about how fair you look, how good is your size, and how beautiful is your face. Let me listen to some comments from you. Both of us will really enjoy seeing this, and I'll be
Absolutely.
happy seeing it from both of them, the men and the women, both here in the group. How important is physical beauty, and does it give you a complex if you don't fit into this typical criteria of maybe not fitting it into the size? Actually, that is really meant for people in the glamour world, but it does exist here. Dipti is saying 100 marks. Okay, so it's true. Anuja says it is a sad fact. Okay, anyone else? Let's, of course, this whole story is going to reveal how true that belief is, but let's really know from others. Vidya also says she agrees. So, yes, physical beauty is something which is overrated, especially in this aspect of life. Any men out there who are wanting to define physical beauty? Yeah, Shefali also agrees. Uh, Hi, Guzali. Is this someone from Amruta's gang or some new viewer? Great, but great to have you here. Yes, Janvi says she also agrees. Agree, body shape, color matters still a lot in our society. So even if people don't come and tell you, by default, because of what you keep listening on every front, you develop a complex. Though people, all of you who are watching Amruta will know that she is, I mean, the skin is very fair, color is good. The only thing was her weight, which she was concerned about, and she decided to be a tomboy. And same was one of the audience also. She also lived like a tomboy because of that. So your childhood was all about competing. So one thing that it did good to you was you became an overachiever and
Absolutely.
you started doing well in life. So
Yes,
what
yes.
happened after you were pursuing, I mean, during your graduation, how did it go after education? What did you decide?
So, seeing the competition or seeing everything, I decided to pick up a career that is different rather than going in the rat race. So, after my 10th, I pursued Japanese language from the Pune University Department of Foreign Languages. And after my
Okay.
12th, I got an opportunity, a scholarship to go and study in Japan for 1 year. So, I
Wow.
was just 18 at that time, and I'm talking about 2002. So that's when mobiles were not very common. Internet was still the khar khar awaz wala dial-up lines. So no, yeah. So no WhatsApp, no Skype video calls, no Facebook, nothing, nothing. So even at that point of time, my parents were extremely supportive, and they took that brave decision of sending me to Japan for a year to an unknown country, unknown people. And that's how I spent 1 year studying in Japan. And I came back in 2003. And because my Japanese had really, really become good because I lived there and in Japanese family, I could really speak and understand much better than what was taught here in textbooks. So right after I came back at the age of 19, I started getting offers for freelancing as a Japanese translator, interpreter. I even was teaching corporate Japanese language batch. So people who were like probably 5, 10, 15 years older to me, I was teaching them. I used to intentionally wear loose clothes so I look older and they take me seriously.
Wow. So it was a
That's
very
how I started.
outgoing and adventurous life
Absolutely.
that you had in a very
Absolutely.
early age. And
Yes.
thanks to your parents who were so open minded. Yes,
Yes.
Deepti, that's exactly what. So, guys, here's this girl who feels that she has a complex. Hi, Mugda. And she's really become competitive. She's overachieving. She's living an outgoing, adventurous life. I don't know how many of us would have decided to do something like that, going all out and staying in a different country with a different family and language which you're wanting to learn. You've not learned it completely. So that
Correct.
was amazing. What did that do to your career?
So, like after I came back at, like I said, at the age of 19, I started getting a lot of offers to even for full-time jobs, but I did not opt for that because I still hadn't completed my graduation. But that really gave me a lot of exposure in terms of starting to work and of course financial independence. So I was earning anyway, and it was the best part was because it was freelancing. I could decide, "Kya next month there are many birthdays coming up, so let me work more. Next month is my exam, so let me, not work much." So I was anywhere earning between like probably 15 to 30,000 per month right from that time. And that really made me, so I bought my own first mobile phone. I was paying my
Wow.
mobile bills, my petrol, my bike, everything. I bought to the extent like my parents used to plead to me ki are kuch to laaj rakh, and take at least the college fees from us. Don't, you don't pay for that, it's our responsibility. So it gave me tremendous financial independence. And I was anyways fortunately outspoken and fearless. So this really even honed that aspect of me even more. And the 3 years of college, I enjoyed college also because I was pursuing BA. So there was no attendance pressure, no practicals, no nothing. So it was all like I could use my time as I wanted. So I was earning the kind of money that I wanted to earn. I was enjoying college. So I had like the best 3 years of my graduation.
Wow. So, guys and girls, here is a girl who's having an outstanding life. She's doing really well in her life. She's financially independent. And obviously, when you finish your graduation, you're doing well in your life, the next stage any parent in India would consider is सगळं व्यवस्थित झालंय, आता काय पुढचं, लग्न कधी करायचं? So what happened with you?
Right. So after my graduation, I got a call from an American IT MNC, and I got a job there. And that time, I was seeing somebody who was my brother's friend, and obviously because he was already working, and I also got a good job, a job that probably was earning 3-4 times more salary than what my friends were trying to earn at that time. So it was really a stable job. So. Because both of us were earning well settled, obviously we should take it to the next level. I was just 22 at that time, and they said that yeah, we should get married. And in 2006 uh, uh, we got we got married. So I got married to that guy. Yeah.
So, Amrita, here I would like to ask and tell my audience. So, she was 22, and how old was the guy?
He was 26.
26. So, dear friends, I would want to know from all of you here, is this the right age of marriage? So, she was obviously financially settled. She had finished her education, and a natural progression as per the society and the family is that now you need to get married. And the guy's working in a great company, you're working in a great company, both are really knowing each other. This is the right time to settle down. Why not settle down with the guy? How many of you agree this is the right way of finding a life partner and getting settled and getting married? Hi Mayur, hi Amay, hi Pranav. It's great to have some guys here. So let me know some views from you. As per you, what is the right age of marriage? And is this the right way to choose a life partner? That both of them are working in the same company, both would have the same lifestyle, we know each other. Why not get married? And it is going to work for everyone because uh, even the boy is known to us. Okay, Shefali is saying no, let's know. Aishwarya says no, okay. Hi, Jui. Who else? Some guys, let me have some answers from you. Mugda says no. Mugda is from Chennai. Hi, Anu. That 22 for a girl and 26 for a guy. Is it the right age to get married? And just because we are in the same working culture, we know each other, both of you are earning well, both of you have settled down, so why not settle down together? And that's how the marriage becomes right. Okay, Shefali says right age is 28 for the girl or the boy, Shefali. So, dear friends, I believe right away, probably for some, but not the right age. Yes, friends, I believe that most important thing that it is not to do with the age. I believe marriage is to do with people who are mature to know first what they want out of life. So it is not about getting married and finding someone and everything is working fine. You're financially settled, I'm financially settled, we belong to the same class, we have the same lifestyle, now let's get married. No, that's not the right way of getting married. Right age is when you're really matured, you know what you want out of life, you've carved a path. Now you're searching for a life partner. So naturally, these two people were very young and they got married. And let's try and find out from Amrita, how did it go?
So obviously the first few months are good. You're still getting to know each other because although we knew each other, he was in the US for about 2.5 years before we got married. So we actually never got to interact a
Got
lot.
to know each other.
But yeah, so first few months obviously we're getting to know each other phase. But very soon we realized that there were some differences in us, and there were some limitations in him. He had some health issues which we were not aware of before, and that started coming to the surface, and that really started creating a lot of problems. So to be honest, actually, on the day of the marriage itself, we realized that there were some issues, and we being really very young, we didn't know how to handle it, and we just ignored it for quite some time. And after certain time, the issues became really big, leading to really bad fights, and really really horrible fights that I have spent sleepless nights for months and months together, where I could not even be in the same room as he was, because it was very scary for me to be in the same room. And one night, actually, the thought of just jumping off the terrace crossed my mind, and I know myself, I'm not a person who will give up, or is, is will not disrespect my life. And that was the moment I realized that something is terribly wrong. And I immediately, next day, I went to my parents' place. I spoke to my parents, I told them everything, and they were very furious about why I did not share all this before. And my father's first reaction was, pack your bags and come back home, you don't need to continue in this marriage. And being just 25 around that time, so it was 2009 probably. And it really needed a lot of courage to pick up everything, move back to my parents' place. But at the same time, continuing was not an option, because the terror that I had been in for 8 to 10 months before that, and even.
So, friends, I think here let's really appreciate one good thing that Amrita's parents have been very supportive. So, they gave her a chance to move out, be there, spend time with a Japanese, I mean, in a new country with a new family. When she comes here, she's settling down. They give her an option of, if she's not happy in the marriage, you can pack your bags and come. How many parents will really give you that opportunity? So that was really amazing. I mean, hats off to them for bringing her up in such a beautiful manner. Isn't that amazing, guys?
Okay,
That we
sorry.
have such, it's absolutely fine that we have such people around us. So I think that credit goes to her parents, that they really told her that you don't need to worry, you need to come back. And what happened to you after that? I mean, ideally, looking from the outside, everything was working perfectly for you. But from the inside, everything was crashing. So what happened to you after that?
So in 2010, I moved back to my parents' place, and in 2011, I got divorced. And already, because in that period of all that the bad patch, I had ignored my health completely. I had gained so much weight already. Like I mentioned at the outset, I was a healthier person, but I had become extremely obese. I had almost touched 100 kgs, and I was least bothered about my health, about my looks. And from a complex of looks, I went into a self-pity mode. I started hating myself to the extent I could not even look at myself in the mirror. It was a very very depressing phase. I used to go in self-pity. I used to feel that I was already feeling worthless, and I started feeling even more worthless. Fortunately, on the work front, everything was good, everything was stable, so that was kind of my go-to place. So I used to spend more hours in office, work more, spoiling my health even further, not really bothering about my sleep or eating patterns or anything. I had a lot of friends, but inside I was lonely. I had lost my self-respect. I didn't believe that I can ever get a person who really loves me, or even I'll ever get married even. So I had actually given up on myself, and I was least interested to change anything about myself.
Hi, Priyanka. Great to have you here. So, dear friends, how many of you agree to this, that when things don't go your way, the first thing that happens to you in life, that you want to get into the self-pity mode, this victimized mode, and you actually ruin your life? Any one of you who've gone through that? Hi, Henny. Good that you came here. It's really going to help you to take this decision. Amruta, there are so many people who would really, listening to this story, will be able to take the right decision about
I
choosing
hope
the right life partner. So
so.
I'm really happy about that.
I hope
So,
so too.
friends, how many of you really get into this mode and start ruining your life? So, when you've gone through something which has not gone your way, and you feel that it is enough, now there's not going to be nothing more in life, you lose hope, and you just start spoiling and ruining your life. So imagine such supportive parents, career doing very well. Fortunately, that one thing remained constant in her life, that she was doing well in her life. She was financially independent. Uh, People in her work front were appreciative of what she was doing. She was growing there. In spite of that, she had gone into this mode of life that is self pity. Yes, Aishwarya says, yes, I have. Janvi says, yes, I do. Vidya says, I agree that you go into that kind of phase. Anuja says she has already. So, friends, that is something I believe that is something that you should never ever do to yourself, because life is much more worth than any person on the earth, anyone. And when I say anyone, means anyone. It's not even for yourself. If you've missed out something in life, you cannot ruin your life. Though it's not an easy thing to do, but you need to, like she packed her bag and came home. That is how you need to pack yourself up and refresh and start afresh. So when did you start afresh, Amrita? When did you feel it was better?
So after going through such a low phase up to I think 2013, I was really not cautious about anything. Like I said, I was ignoring my health and everything. In 2013, I through a friend, I got to know a few things, and he really inspired me to read more, to understand life more at a deeper level. And that's how I got serious about my health also, because I figured out that I was a sports person. I cannot be the 100 kg person that I was. So I enrolled into a gym, and like seriously enrolled into a gym and started going regularly. And I came down to almost 70 kgs in a 12 13 months, and in a very good fit way. And then I started looking at myself in the mirror. I started feeling good about myself. I started believing that okay, I can look good too, and I could start taking compliments. I was really bad at taking compliments. I used to like shy away, or just like look around if somebody compliments on my looks. But by that time I could at least take some compliments, at least smile back, try to blush a bit if somebody is complimenting. And so that was a good phase. So 2013 onwards I really started that journey of health very
Great.
seriously.
Great. So, friends, sometimes we feel that this is the right age, let's settle down and everything will fall in place. So, you've got a good job, you've got married at the right age, you'll have kids at the right age, and life is going to be so amazing. But here there is a fact that we are listening from Amrita. So, 2006, she got married until 2013. That is 7 years. She was really suffering. There's nothing that she gained out of it. And it took her really time to actually look at herself and say that life is still worth it. So, Amrita, did the journey of finding someone again begin? Did you find someone else? Hi, Ankur.
So in 2013, like I said, 2013-14, I began this journey of physical transformation. And then I thought, okay, now that I can look myself in the mirror, probably I'm looking good. So now is the right time to maybe start meeting someone. And but somewhere I still had probably that deep down complex that I'm not worth it. Although if we think about it, I was doing good in other aspect, but somehow I still didn't believe that I'm worth a good person. And that really led to disasters in my life on the relationship front. So many guys tried to enter my life in that trying to take that role. And I used to feel that okay, now I think I found the person, and I should get ready. But then I used to realize that that person used me for his own emotional benefits, for his financial benefits. And when they finished using me, they would just go away from me. They would just move away from me, and it hurt me a lot, obviously, because when you're trying to build a life, when you're trying to find a partner, and but I didn't realize what I was feeling deep down. But that's why I kept on attracting, or I probably kept on going behind the wrong guys
Wrong people.
in the hope to get married. And it always was a disaster, because I used to realize eventually that this is not the person that I'm really looking for.
Right. So, friends, for all of you here, this question which Amrita just, the topic that she addressed, I didn't feel I was worth it. How many of you really feel that you have to be worthwhile? And what is that being worthwhile to find the right life partner? What do you mean by being worthwhile? Am I really worth finding the right kind of life partner? What's your definition of being worthwhile? Can I have some answers? Some who have already got married. Hi, Gurbaksh. Great to have you here. Uh, Last time it was Gurbaksh who had come here on the series, so he's listening to your story. So, how do you really decide that you are worth receiving love? How do you feel that, yes, this is a time that you can find the right life partner? What is the definition from you? It's not about the others. How do you feel that, yes, I'm worth it and I can be loved truly for who I am? Anyone who would like to answer, because it will be a great learning process. I just don't want this to be a story, but a learning for all those people who are at that age, who would be thinking about finding a life partner. It'll be really amazing if we'll be able to address those issues for you. And that is applicable today. Like I said in the very beginning, it is not only for females, it is for men today. To find the right life partner is a big task. And if that happens, life is a beautiful, happy, happening journey. If it doesn't, then it's really a miserable journey. So, what does it take for you to feel that you're worth it and you will find the right person in your life, be it a girl or a boy, be it a man or a woman? What does it really take? For those who've really got married, those who are searching for a life partner, what is your definition? Can we have some answers quickly? So, Amrita, 2013, 14. How
Yeah.
long did this go on?
Ah, it went on and on and on. And so it went on till 2018, till I met you and Dheeraj Dada. Because I was really not sure why this is happening, what is going wrong. And I kept on, falling, again, taking wrong decisions and letting wrong people into my lives who were just ruining me on my relationship front. And it was miserable. So although I had transformed physically, I was doing better health wise, doing really good job wise, but still on that front, on the relationship front, I was miserable. I used to feel again that, take whoever is coming my way, I should just accept it. I should just compromise or sacrifice what I really want from my life and just be with this person, because if not this person, I will not get anybody. So that
Right.
went on till 2018, when I already knew both of you, but on a different forum. But I was fortunate to be able to meet you for this also.
So we have some people answering this question. Henny says, when we have accepted ourselves the way we are, is the time we will be worth to get the partner in life. Okay. Being beautiful, successful, being able to, what is this? Good, take good care of family. In short, 100% perfection of a person. Oh God, that's a huge expectation. Okay, one male answering. That's a nice thing. Emotional and mental connect, where both of them help each other keep going ahead, irrespective of whatever the situation are. Okay. Archie says, when we love and respect ourselves first. Okay. Ashwarya, when we make our belief system strong and accept ourselves. Yes, that's quite close to the answer. So, if you all were listening to the story correctly and really listening, she said she was 70 kg. What's your height, Amrita?
5'3".
So 5'3", 70 kg is almost like a good figure. So good financial state, good physical state, good looks, everything put together also didn't give her the right kind of results. And that is where she decided enough is enough. Let me go out and seek some help. Right? So what does it take for a person to really reach out for help, Amrita? What did it take you to really come to this conclusion that no, it's not working, let me search some help? And did you
So
go through these usual patterns of matrimony, getting registered there, meeting new guys? Did you do all of that?
So actually, I around 2014-15 I started another, because as per the answers or as per the society, I had crossed 30, so I was like already old to get married. So yeah, I was so 31 in 2015. So already people were behind my lives that, you are already crossed 30, and plus you have a past, so you're not going to get good guys. Typical
Okay, so one more
society
tagline,
pressures.
being divorcee.
Yes. Yes. So because you
Hmm.
are a divorcee, plus you have crossed 30, now you're gonna not get gonna get good guys, etc. So 2015, I tried registering on rather my mom pushed me to register on some marriage portals, and I did not find it interesting at all.
All.
So she really paid exorbitant amounts for something called as a relationship manager from that website.
Okay.
And
How
they
did he
really
manage
tried.
you?
And I was like, and she was actually trying to sell me, guys. She used to call me like at any time of the day. And I remember this one time she called and she's like, you know what, this guy is from this is so it is a small town, and you should really meet him. I said, but what will I do in that town? My job is here. I'm in IT, and how will I be able to? She, no, they are really good family. They are very open minded. They will let you work and all. So I was like, ma'am, thank you. Please hang up. I am not interested. So that way, yeah, the pressure was building on from the society, and considering I was financially really doing well and overall looking happy, better than before. People used to have all kinds of wrong impressions about me, that she's doing something wrong in her life, that's why to hide that she's not getting married, etc., etc. So my journey to getting married again started around 2015 and registered on portals, but still 3 years in that search plus my own blunders, I was still not able to find the right person. And I was actually wondering that what is going wrong, if everything I'm doing is on the right track, if I'm doing well on all aspects, why is it not working out? And that's when I realized that something that I'm doing is not right. And then I decided that I have to take help. I have to meet a coach, and that's how I came to you to help me to find the right life partner.
So how did the journey go when you
uh,
came to me and
so initially, of course, it was more of because, like I said, I knew you before, so there was that inherent belief and faith in you was there. But again, had a lot of questions. Why am I doing this? Is this really going to help? I think I'm doing everything right. Then what is wrong? And so I started with my inhibitions and doubts. But I had decided to trust you completely, and that's how I started doing things that were completely out of my comfort zone many times. But you made me do my homeworks and activities relentlessly. And of course, there were days when I had doubts. I used to think that this will not work. But when I really look back and when I really thought why you are making me do those things, it really made sense. And I think it was more of shaking my belief system about myself, that I'm not worthy enough to find a good life partner. And I think the kind of work you did on me was really amazing. You made me rewrite my mission statement, relationship vision so many times, that how should my relationship look. And I think by the end of it, I was so clear on what kind of a life partner I want, even though the face might not have been there. But the clarity was completely there. And so many exercises like the incantations in the morning, and so many things, the workshops that I attended in January last year were life transforming, and I think that brought me closer to the result.
hmm. So the end result was what? Going through that entire coaching, doing certain things which were uncomfortable. What did it bring to you?
So I think doing that really transformed me. I could change my belief system. I could really believe that I deserve the best. And I think we always say that nobody's perfect. So no human being might be perfect, but the perfect one for you is definitely there. So it may sound like a Karan Johar movie, but it is true that the absolutely the perfect one for you is right there. And I think it is about believing. It is really about believing that I am worthy of getting that perfect person in my life. And many a times I think the friends that I mean my friends or some colleagues or other acquaintances that I know give up in that journey, in the in between, and that's where disasters happen, like it happened with me. So I think the patience and absolutely believing completely that yes, I will get the perfect one, I'll get the best person who is made for me. And that's where I think this beautiful journey with you, Didi, took me eventually.
Right. So you found the right perfect match for you.
Ah, absolutely.
Yes. And how long you've been married?
So I've been married for I married in July last year. And the process of meeting my husband was really unbelievable. So I remember, Didi, you always used to tell me कि जब होगा ना अमृता इतनी जल्दी होगा तुझे पता भी नहीं चलेगा. And I used to always just smile that time. And in the car I used to think यार दीदी क्या बात कर रही है, ये पिक्चर में होता है, ये जिंदगी में नहीं होता. This is not possible. It can't happen. But I got married to my husband. So we decided to get married on 14th of May last year, and 14th of July we were married. And that was a guy who never wanted to get married in first place. So I don't know what happened. And and he, so I knew him. We were acquaintances from some common friends. So that really worked really well. And I really don't know how it worked, what happened. And when I asked him, even now, rather probably 3-4 days ago only, I was asking him that, how did you marry me? You know, I'm not even good looking. I'm such a chubby girl and everything. And he's like, are you crazy? Again, like a filmy dialogue that Meri aankhon se, you should really see from my eyes. You are the most beautiful. Even when I was getting ready before coming here, I was like, मैं ये lipstick लगाऊं, this earring, hairband. He's like, why are you doing that? You're anyway so beautiful. You're going to look good. And that is something that I had probably not received in my entire life. The where my weak point, or where I felt I was not worthy, he really made me feel beautiful from inside. So it is not about being fair or being fat or being thin. It's about how you really feel from inside. And I think that transformation, Didi, the credit goes to you for making that possible.
Thank you. And how has married life been? It's 1 year and a few
It's
months.
yes, it's been an amazing journey, because I think although it was very fast, but we really got to know each other very well, and we are really growing together as people. He started his own business after we got married, and I am also growing in my profession. I got a promotion right after my marriage. So everybody said, he's so lucky for you. And I was like, I have also worked hard for this, kind of. So it's been really amazing. And it's there is that freedom that I can do my work, I can follow my passion, he follows his passion, but a lot of understanding. We actually have fun together, like friends also, going out and really chilling out. And even at home, it's been amazing. And the best thing, I think, I know it may sound cliche, but this lockdown really gave us time to be together for 8 months. Imagine who is going to pay you the salary, full time for working from home, plus you
From
be with
home.
your husband. So it's like, it was like a blessing in disguise, this lockdown. So from March till almost even now, almost being 24 hours with him in the same house, has really opened up the beautiful relationship that we are sharing. And of course it's with lot of learnings, some fights, but that's the beauty of it, I think. And I'm really loving the life that I'm living right now. I never felt, probably if you could have asked me 3, 4, 5 years ago if I would be having such a happy married life, I would have laughed you off and saying, Ki, no, I don't think so. I mean, I'll just probably marry whoever comes across and just live a normal life. But I think this life I never dreamt that I'll get, and it was made possible because of you. So I'm really having a happily married life.
So the vision that we had worked together on, and the clarity that you had, the kind of person that you were looking for, has everything happened?
Absolutely, I think more than what I dreamt of. So I remember we wrote down the qualities that I wanted in my husband. I think 52 of them. And and very very mysteriously, on 14th May, like I said, we decided to get married. We had gone out for dinner, and when I walked out of the restaurant, my car glass was broken, and the bag that I used to carry to your sessions, that bag was stolen. And the book that I had written out those 52 qualities was stolen. And till date, my husband says, "Thank God for it.
Where are they?
Otherwise, you would have compared and you would not have not married me." But I think everything, I think everything that I wanted in a life partner, and rather more, I have got in him. It's really been an amazing journey.
Wow. So coming here today and spending your time with our audience, what is the last message that you would like to give all the people who are searching for a life partner, who are not sure, who are stuck, some who've really been, passionate about their career, and all of a sudden in their 30s realize they want to find a life partner. They wonder if it is too late. Or people who've, taken some wrong decisions, like you had a wrong marriage and then become stepped out of the marriage. Now they feel that tag of divorcee. Will they really find their true love? What would you like to convey to them?
So I think it's very, very important. Firstly, very, very important that we never, belittle ourselves. Many times, like I said, we feel that because I'm a divorcee, or because something is there that I feel is negative about me, I am ready to just, take whatever comes, rather than really following my dream or my goal of a life partner. So it's very important to have patience, to really believe in yourself first, and then find a life partner accordingly. So please don't give up. Please be patient. Please believe in yourself that you will find nothing but the perfect person who is meant for you, and he or she will definitely come through your life. So there is no age, I think. I am 37 now, so I got married last year, and my husband is a year older to us. So, and it's his first. So it was a intentional choice of his to not get. There's nothing as right age or anything. It's absolutely when you feel that you are ready to accept and, truly unconditionally love somebody. Only then I think you should get married.
And do you feel it's the right thing to do, that if you feel you're stuck, you should not feel embarrassed about it, not feel ashamed, really step out
Yes.
and take some help?
Absolutely. I think whenever you feel stuck, because, and I think all of us do at some point of time in some aspects of our life feel stuck, and it feels that, it is, why do I need to go and take help from somebody outside? I can manage my life. But it's not that. It's not really like that. And there is no question of feeling anything that, you're going and asking for help. So please, wherever you feel stuck, please go and reach out to the experts, reach out to a coach, reach out to Didi, to really transform your life. And I can say, like I shared my story, so I can say from my own life that it really works, and it will definitely transform you at the place where you feel that you are stuck. It will definitely give you those results.
Thank you very much, Amrita. Thank you once again. And friends, Amrita will take her leave. I just want that she's still going to be there watching your comments. So, what did you learn from her story? Was it a good story to listen to? What were your learnings? Please share with us so we'll know that it was really worthwhile. Thank you, Amrita. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take
So, friends, let us know, what was your learning? How was the story? Did it really help you? Do you really believe that it's important that when you're stuck, you need to look out for help? There is no shame. There is nothing to feel embarrassed about, to reach out to someone and get the results of your life that you desire. How many of you really felt that you learned something from this story? What were your learnings? Did you really enjoy listening to her story? Bobby says Amrita has had an amazing journey, very inspiring. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Akash. So, what was the learning, guys and girls, all of you who've joined us? Okay, Honey says we should believe in ourselves. Fantastic. Anyone else? Let's really also thank Amrita for really being so open. It's not easy to come here and share your personal life. I'm really happy and blessed that I have such people who uh, feel that it is okay to come and share so that it will help others. So thank you, Amrita, for that wonderful thing. Yes, Honey, thank you for telling. It was a great story. I know I have been through this entire journey with her, and it was really very beautiful. So, girls and guys out there, few things which I want to share from Amrita's journey. One, it's not about what is your age that you should get married, whether 20 is right, 25 is right, 28 is right, 30 is right. No, I don't think so. The age right is the right age when you feel you're ready for marriage, when you're ready to take that commitment. Let me listen to a few more comments. I would like to read this. What is this? Gurbaksh is really um okay. A lot of people writing. That's good. Belief system really works. Always believe in yourself and reach out for help from others who can really make a difference in your life. I agree to this. Janvi says, so inspiring, such an amazing journey, so much to learn. Believe in ourselves, be patient, and reach out for help. Shefali saying, I really enjoyed. It was a very inspiring journey. Believe in yourself and life is worth it. So, you know, the best part. Hi, Sugda. I couldn't see you earlier. Great to have you here. So, I feel that all of you are saying believe in yourself. But, friends, is it really easy to believe in yourself? Especially when things have not gone the way that you had desired. You were expecting something, you were working towards that result, it was not happening. Don't you think it is so natural that you lose confidence in yourself? And the minute that happens, that is where the downtrend happens. And you either get into the mode of self pity, feeling like a victim, you end up ruining your life, your time, your energy on wrong things. So it's really not easy to believe in yourself. Of course, you should take help from people you know or reach out for professional help, but it is really important to reach out because that's the first step. So I feel that one, that there is no age for marriage. It is really about you feeling ready for a commitment. Second, it's important to really have clarity on what you want in terms of your life partner. Only if you know yourself can you choose the right life partner. So I think that's the first thing that we worked with Amrita. She got clarity on who she is, and those long earrings which you saw in Amrita's ears is the part of that transformation of her journey of moving from a tomboy to being a girl and accepting herself as a beautiful female. So it is not easy to really believe in yourself. Yes, Bobby, that's right. So do that, you know, take some help, but take all the efforts. Don't stop yourself. Find the right life partner. So once you're clear what you want, then it's about finding out what is the right kind of life partner in my life. And then after that, coming together, understanding each other, and the beautiful journey starts. Of course, Bobby and Amrita, two lucky people who, thanks to COVID, had a long honeymoon period where they could spend time under the same roof with their spouses for a long time and a paid honeymoon by the company. So that was really amazing. So, friends, thank you very much. It was really wonderful. All of you stayed for that story. I'm sure it had a lot of learnings, amazing things to listen to, so many things that you could reflect in your life. Please take these learnings to heart and change your life. I hope this transformation was helpful for you. Good night. Have a great week and do well for yourself. Bye for now. Thank you, friends. Bye bye.